truth, right? And I sat there and reflected after that gig when I wanted to come up with some better material. I was like, what is my truth? My truth is the estate that I've grown up on. My truth is all my friends. And what is my truth? My truth is that I used to go to church every Sunday for 6 years. Not because my dad was Christian. There was a Nigerian church on the estate and he used to see them in their outfits and thought, that's a fucking conspiracy. What are they up to? So he dressed us up in the Nigerian attire and we went to a Nigerian church for 6 years. That's his paranoia. He's now a reverend, right? In a Nigerian church. Amazing. So I'm kind of doing these jokes and material about this kind of stuff. And it's so weird because the comics I started out with are doing really, really well for themselves. Really well. You know, they're doing like Michael McIntyre's comedy road show. Some of them have been on Mock the Week. Some of them are 8 out of 10 cats. On the live circuit, they're doing Junglers. They're doing the Comedy Store. I'm getting bookings in Nigeria. And I'll never forget the first flight I took to Nigeria. There's 3 airlines that fly there: BA, Virgin and Arik. Arik is a Nigerian airline. Got my tickets through. I'm like, okay, Arik, let me do a bit of research into this. I've never heard about them before. So I looked into it, and it turns out it's a Nigerian national airline. And what that means is they only employ Nigerian nationals. And I think that's a great thing, because they keep the money within their economy, and the economy grows. Perfect, right? Now, the day of the flight, I boarded, I was on board, and the pilot just turned up 3 hours late. Apparently he was watching Breaking Bad. I was like, wow. I didn't knock him, I know the hustle, it's cool, right? And he went in the cockpit, ladies and gentlemen, and made an announcement that sits with me till this day, right? He walked in and went, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard this flight to...
Where are we going?
The best thing about coming from a working class family and going to university is when you graduate and you tell them you got a third, they think it's a bronze. Well done, son, podium finish. The funniest part, right, about my dad living on this notorious estate is that he suffers from chronic paranoia. Chronic paranoia, right? So growing up, he used to leave all the lights on in the house. And I say to him, Dad, why have you left all the lights on? And he used to say, so people think we're in. I'm like, Dad, we are in. I did that at a warm-up in London, and my grandma was there, right? Really supportive of my grandma. She came, and after the gig, she was like, oh, listen, you know you used to do that bit about your dad with all the lights and stuff? He gets that from me, right? He gets that from me. I'm like, how does he? She went, yeah, what I do when I go out, I leave the radio on. That's what I do. And I was like, oh, okay. So one time when she was out, I went round, lifted up the letterbox and listened through, and she was playing Capital Gold. And I had to say to her next time I saw her, Grandma, you can't leave Capital Gold on. If a burglar listens through the letterbox and hears Capital Gold, that doesn't really scream, don't burgle me. It more screams, come and get me, vulnerable old lady, right? I said, tune into a local pirate station where they're rapping and talking about killing themselves as well as everyone else that comes in front of them. And then she was like, no, I don't need to do that. I'm so over the radio. I've got another one now. I was like, go on. She went, I'm leaving all the windows open. I'm double bluffing them. Oh, bless her, all the windows. She lives in a nursing home. She's got one.